Good afternoon. My name is Todd Hall. I'm the president of Truliant Federal Credit Union. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's a monumental event that's going on with regards to our participation in the eClosing initiative with the Secretary of State. So I just want to welcome you all to our campus. Very glad to have you. If I might, I'd like to introduce the Secretary of State with a few comments. In 1996, Secretary of State Elaine F. Marshall became the first woman ever elected to a statewide executive branch office in North Carolina. Secretary Marshall was a member of the North Carolina State Senate before rising to statewide office. She holds a BS in Home Economics from the University of Maryland and a law degree from Campbell University. Go Campbells. She has received honorary doctorate degrees from Campbell University, Lees-McRae College, Meredith College, and the Republic of Moldova State University of Medicine. Her work experiences include teaching home economics in the public school and community college systems, co-ownership of a book and gift store, establishing an interior decorating business, and the private practice of law. Secretary Marshall has been very active in many civic groups in the area of child welfare, women's issues, and agricultural and small-town economic development. She credits 4-H as an important part of her youth. Since becoming Secretary of State, she has received numerous state and national awards for leadership in technology, government, innovation, and women's leadership. They include, but are not limited to, I stress that, it was a long and distinguished list, the following. Receipt of the 2019 Brand Protection Hero Award from the Center of Anti-Counterfeiting and Product Protection. Presently serving as a Campbell University Board of Trustee, she received the Campbell University Distinguished Alumni Award in 2014. She was inducted into the North Carolina Women Business Owners Hall of Fame in 2018. She received the Charlotte Business Journal's 2017 International Trade Lifetime Achievement Award. She served as the president of the National Association of Secretaries of State in 2015 and was that organization's Medallion Award recipient for Outstanding Business Services and Electronic Governance in 2017. She served on the Meredith College Board of Trustees from 1998 to 2002 and received that institution's Women of Achievement Award in 2017. She was awarded Leadership North Carolina's 2016 Governor's Award for Public Service and Commitment to Developing Leaders. She was inducted into the North Carolina 4-H Lifetime Achievement Award in 2013, she received it, and was inducted into the National 4-H Hall of Fame in 2014. She was recognized as the 2017 Public Policy Leader of the Year for the National Association of Women Business Owners of Charlotte, was the National Foundation for Women's Legislators 2013 Elected Woman of Excellence Award winner, named the Triangle's 100 Most Influential Business Leaders of 2012 by the Triad Business Journal, is the recipient of the Moldovan Order of Honor, the highest distinction Moldova awards to non-Moldovan citizens. Presented with the Distinguished Attorney Awards for the North Carolina Association of Women Attorneys, inducted into the Honor Society of Agriculture of North Carolina State University, was a Lifetime Achievement Award recipient for Women in Business by the Triangle Business Journal, and served as president of the National Electronic Commerce Coordinating Council, a think tank dedicated to bringing best technology practices to government across the country, i.e. eClosings. She is married to Jesse Thomas Bunn. And with that, I'd like to present to you Secretary of State Elaine F. Marshall.
I guess we're in afternoon now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we celebrate a landmark moment in North Carolina Electronic Mortgage Closing Initiative, what we refer to as eClosings. My deepest gratitude to Truliant Federal Credit Union President Todd Hall for hosting us this afternoon, and to his staff for their efforts over the last several weeks in working on this event, but also the last several months in getting ready for all of us to the point where we are today. Today, Truliant Credit Union is announcing that it will be the first credit union in North Carolina to be able to offer complete eClosing services on mortgages. They will be, They will be the second North Carolina-based financial institution to offer a fully electronic mortgage closing process to all their members. This represents a major expansion in North Carolina's electronic mortgage closing initiative that was developed by the Secretary of State's office. You may be thinking, why is the Secretary of State's office involved? Well, our department is North Carolina's primary agency for business formation and financial capital formation, as well as we administer the North Carolina Electronic Commerce Act. We also oversee the training and certification of notaries public in this state. North Carolina is far and away the leader in this space. We've been committed to getting to this point since the first e-commerce act in 1998. We now have all the laws and the regulations in place. We are fond of saying this is one of the longest overnight successes ever. But the foresight we had over the last 20 years means that North Carolina has a distinct advantage in making this monumental transformation. We are more prepared than any other state in terms of legal infrastructure. Ozzie Stallworth from my office, who heads up our e-notary division and serves as chair of the North Carolina Mortgage eClosing Council Advisory Committee, will discuss more of this in a moment. The powerful tools created by these crucial pieces of legislation and the e-commerce pilot project conducted a few years ago will speed up transactions and government services and create real-world efficiencies and cost savings for North Carolina citizens and businesses. These greater efficiencies and cost savings will in turn enable this state to better compete in an increasingly competitive global marketplace. I want to stress that we're doing it the right way, with attorney oversight and a notary in the same room with their notary seal. The model here in North Carolina still requires a notary public to be there in person, even though the work is being done all electronically. Personal appearance before a notary is the most trusted form of verification in the world and ensures the utmost consumer protection in the electronic mortgage closing process. None of the safeguards that you would expect when you are closing are missing. None of the professionals you expect to see are going to be absent. They're going to be there. The only thing that is missing is a giant stack of paper documents that slow down the transaction and sometimes themselves cause delay and confusion. Homeownership is still one of great American dreams, but traditional paper-based process for real estate closing is time-consuming, it's complicated, and quite honestly, it is frequently needlessly nerve-wracking for the home buyer. In this age of technology, the demand is growing to streamline paper-based processes into an easier and faster closing. One of our first e-closers recalled not even knowing how much money she would need at a closing when she showed up at the closing table to buy her first house 20 years ago. She was more informed this time through the e-closing process. What generally would have taken hours took 19 minutes to close, and this homeowner had the keys to her new home in 46 minutes. So the blueprint's here, and North Carolina built it. In January, with a tremendous amount of help from the advisory committee, the Secretary of State's office published a handy guide. It's called the North Carolina Electronic Mortgage Closing 101, a white paper. You can find it on our website at sosnc.gov. In addition, this year our office was named a finalist for the Innovative Award from the National Association of Secretary of State for this initiative. I'll close with two things today. First, along with today's announcement, I'm appointing Beth Eller, Vice President of Mortgage Lending with Truliant, to the North Carolina Electronic Mortgage Closing Advisory Committee. Beth's insight, yeah, you can clap for that too, yeah. Beth's insight and experience will be extremely helpful in this committee's work. Finally, we're extremely excited by this announcement today from Truliant Federal Credit Union. This could open the door for many more e-closings. This is a win-win-win collaboration. In case you were counting, that was 3 of them. The business sector should feel they've got a win by using this initiative. customers should feel that they have a win by the fast, efficient services of those of us in government. We should see it as a win as the transactions are completed quickly and securely. Win, win, win. That's what we want for everyone involved. We believe eClosing show us a faster and better way to do these transactions. Thank you. And now let me ask Truliant Federal Credit Union President Todd Hall to make some additional comments, followed by Ozzie Stallworth and then Ken Sykes. Ken is the Senior Development Relationship Officer with North State Bank and Vice Chair of the Advisory Committee. North State Bank was the first institution to conduct fully electronic mortgage closings in North Carolina, and we thank them greatly. So, Todd.
Yes, ma'am. But thank you, Secretary Marshall. We greatly appreciate you being here and the honor you bestowed upon us. Truliant's extremely pleased to have been asked to participate with the Secretary of State's office in such an impactful initiative. Truliant's mission is to improve the lives of our members any way we can, both financially and by supporting the communities in which they live, and the efficiencies, cost savings, and ease of understanding that the eClosing initiative creates for what is usually the largest purchase most people experience is tremendously impactful and directly aligned with the credit union's purpose. The fact that we are the first credit union selected to provide these benefits to our members and will be at the forefront with assisting to expand eClosings across the state of North Carolina is a strong testament to Truliant's position as a digital products and services leader within the financial industry space. Many thanks to Ozzie Stallworth and Ken Sykes for their assistance along the way, and to Beth Eller, Truliant's Vice President of Mortgage, for championing our efforts. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and it is indeed an honor to be here. This is such an exciting time, not only for Truliant, but for North Carolina and indeed the country. Just want to speak with you very briefly about the legal infrastructure that we have in place. It's really important in this day and age of electronic advances to understand the diligence that went into building this legal infrastructure that we have. This is not something that just popped up overnight. Indeed, starting back early as 1998 and prior to that with the thought and the planning, but between 1998 and 2007, we passed a series of statutes, of laws that regulate electronic signatures, electronic notarization, and electronic recording. In addition to those laws, we also adopted standards that the registers of deeds, counting today, I think we have 86 registers of deeds offices that are accepting electronic mortgage closing. That represents about 95% of the state's population. And so all of these laws and the standards that brought about the uniformity for electronic recording, as well as the administrative codes that help to govern the process of electronic notarization, gives us a formidable legal infrastructure, and one that is still being copied and duplicated by other states, which we gladly share our successes with them. But to give you an idea of how far advanced we are, the last act that we passed or adopted to fortify our legal infrastructure happened in 2007. And since that time, we've been working to perfect all of those acts, the standards, and the administrative codes. In comparison, most other states, and when I say most, there's 50, so probably 48 of them, are still working to make sure that they have the legal infrastructure that will allow for them to have the platform that we have. And all that is attributable to a lot of hard work by a lot of people in the amazing leadership of Secretary Marshall. So we're very fortunate in North Carolina to have a leader not only with the foresight to make sure that we're able to be where we are today, but to allow folks with the passion of Mr. Ken Sykes and the folks here at Truliant to be able to partner with us to help this grow so that all of North Carolina will benefit. So we'll be around for as long as you need us to answer any specific questions about the legal infrastructure, what it takes to become an electronic notary, what counties are e-recording, and so on and so forth. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ken Sykes, who will be able to share some firsthand experience in terms of the benefits of electronic mortgage closing to the members and organizations. Mr. Sykes.
Thank you, Ivy. I could talk on and on about the commitment that Secretary Marshall and Ozzie Stallworth have had to this platform, but you'd be here for the rest of the day. But unperturbed, and no obstacle was big enough, no impediment was large enough. The lack of interest was not even from some of our industry people, never deterred them from their dream of bringing this platform to North Carolina. And I want to say this, Todd, I was at Federal Home Loan Bank last week. I'm a representative from North Carolina, the 7 states under the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta's reign. And so there were 14 members there, and 7 of them were credit unions. And I was there to present on behalf of North Carolina on the e-mortgage platform. And secretly, I was not saying a lot because I wanted to make sure that Truliant was the first credit union in the state, first credit union in the Federal Home Loan Bank's jurisdiction to launch an e-platform. So I've kept the secret, Todd, and so you guys are first. Now they can ask me whatever they want, but I would tell you that let me just say this. The one thing missing here is that the eClosing platform was a top-down driven thing. It started with the Secretary of State. But long before I was involved, or maybe even Ozzie was involved, and certainly Beth was involved, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, FHFA, the CFPB, MERS Registry, a lot of the big national players said to us, you need to do this. We believe in it. We think it's a better way. This is what we want you to do. And so this is not a bottom-driven thing. This is something that's being driven from the top, and certainly Secretary Marshall and Ozzie, their office, it says the Secretary of State of North Carolina, not only lead North Carolina, but maybe the nation. We are recognized, Ozzie and I were fortunate enough to do a webinar yesterday with the ABA, which I don't know how many members the ABA has, but it's a lot of them, I'm sure, 400 or 500 banks. And North Carolina is recognized as the leader in electronic closings, and we're very proud of that. So I just want to say thank you all. Beth, my dear friend, thank you for accepting the challenge. Todd, thank you on behalf of Truliant and all the wonderful members that you'll serve. Thank you for being a part of this. And I could, again, go on and on. By the way, Monday was Secretary Marshall's birthday. I do have to mention that. It's been a great week. Yeah. So thank you all for your interest. Thank you for your time. And I'll turn it back over to Todd or Ozzie or...
So I do think that that is the end of the presentation. I know that Ozzie and Ken and myself and Beth will be around to answer any questions if you should have them about that. I think the Secretary will be here for just a few more moments and then has to make another engagement. But we thank you so much for involving us in this initiative and being here today. We're super excited about being a part of it. So thank you. Thank you all.